In a surprising turn of events, a secretive presidential decree in Algeria has come to light. The decree, discovered through an investigative report, shifts the control of the media from the Ministry of Communication directly to the presidential palace. This move has sent shockwaves through the political and media landscapes, raising concerns about the future of democracy in the country. The decree was signed in secrecy and had remained hidden from the public for weeks. It was only through the diligent efforts of journalists and whistleblowers that the information surfaced. This secrecy has led to widespread speculation about the motives and the potential repercussions of this unprecedented power shift. The revelation comes at a critical time for Algeria, with presidential elections just around the corner. The timing of this decree has fueled debates and concerns regarding its impact on the transparency and fairness of the electoral process. The decree outlines a significant reorganization of media authority in Algeria. Traditionally, the Ministry of Communication has held the reins of media regulation and oversight. However, this new decree transfers those powers to the presidential palace, centralizing media control under the direct supervision of the president. This shift means that all media outlets, including television, radio and print, will now report directly to the presidential palace. The implications of this transfer are profound, as it potentially places the media under the influence of the highest office in the land. Critics argue that this move could compromise journalistic independence and lead to increased censorship. Furthermore, the timing of this decree is highly suspicious, coming just months before the presidential elections. The centralization of media control could be seen as an attempt to manipulate public perception and control the narrative leading up to the elections. This raises serious questions about the integrity of the upcoming electoral process. The timing of the decree is no coincidence. With elections looming, the centralization of media control can be viewed as a strategic move by the current administration. By consolidating media power within the presidential palace, the incumbent government gains a significant advantage in shaping public discourse. Political analysts suggest that this move could be aimed at curbing dissent and controlling opposition voices. By having direct influence over the media, the government can ensure that favorable coverage is given to the ruling party while minimizing exposure to criticism. This control over information flow can greatly impact voter perceptions and election outcomes. Moreover, the secrecy surrounding the decree raises concerns about the transparency of the government's intentions. If the decree was genuinely in the interest of national stability and security, why was it not disclosed publicly? This lack of transparency undermines trust in the government and suggests ulterior motives behind the decree's implementation. Section 4. Implications for upcoming presidential elections. The upcoming presidential elections in Algeria are expected to be highly competitive. However, the shift in media control raises doubts about the fairness of the electoral process. With the media under the direct influence of the presidential palace, there are fears that the elections could be skewed in favor of the incumbent administration. One of the main concerns is the potential for biased reporting. Media outlets may be pressured to provide favorable coverage of the ruling party while neglecting or negatively portraying opposition candidates. This imbalance in media representation can significantly influence voter opinions and undermine the principles of a free and fair election. Additionally, the centralization of media control could lead to increased censorship and suppression of dissenting voices. Journalists and media organizations may face restrictions on their reporting, limiting the public's access to diverse viewpoints. This stifling of free expression can hinder democratic discourse and prevent voters from making informed decisions. Section 5. Public and international reactions. The revelation of the secretive decree has sparked outrage among the Algerian public. Citizens and civil society organizations have expressed their concerns about the potential erosion of media freedom and democracy in the country. Protests and demonstrations have been organized to demand the repeal of the decree and the restoration of media independence. Internationally, the decree has drawn condemnation from human rights organizations and foreign governments. The international community has called for transparency and accountability from the Algerian government. There are fears that this move could set a dangerous precedent for other countries in the region, undermining democratic principles globally. Expert opinions on the matter have been mixed. Some political analysts argue that the decree could enhance national security and stability by ensuring a unified media front. However, the majority of experts warn that the centralization of media control poses a significant threat to democracy and freedom of expression in Algeria. Section 6. Future implications for Algeria's political landscape. The future implications of this presidential decree are far-reaching. If the centralization of media control is allowed to stand, it could lead to a more authoritarian political landscape in Algeria. The concentration of power within the presidential palace may set a precedent for further erosions of democratic institutions and checks and balances. This move could also impact Algeria's international standing. Countries that value democratic principles and media freedom may reconsider their diplomatic and economic relationships with Algeria. The decree could result in increased isolation and criticism on the global stage, affecting Algeria's trade and foreign policy. Ultimately, the fate of Algeria's democracy hangs in the balance. The public's response to this decree and the actions taken by civil society will play a crucial role in determining the country's political trajectory. It is imperative that the government engages in transparent dialogue and considers the voices of its citizens to ensure a democratic and free media landscape.